How does a man survive 2 assassination attempts, endure 2 impeachments, and navigate a lifetime of disputes to ascend to the White House?
Donald Trump is a street fighter.
I alone can fix it.
Donald Trump is a name that evokes admiration, inspires outrage, and ignites debates across the globe.
Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke. Donald Trump often appears on Fox, which is ironic because a fox often appears on Donald Trump's head.
From the glittering towers of Manhattan to the corridors of power in Washington, his journey is so fascinating. However, the least I can do is to present the truth. And this is the story of a man who defied the odds, forged his own path, and made a significant impact on history.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
President-elect of the United States, Donald John Trump.
Part 1. The Early Beginnings. Born on June 14, 1946, as the fourth born of 5 children to Frederick Trump and Marianne Trump. His father, Fred Trump, was a successful real estate developer known for constructing middle-class housing in Brooklyn, which provided Donald with an early exposure into the world of business. As a wealthy businessman, Fred Trump wanted his son to have the best education that money could buy, and this is where young Donald Trump's story begins. As a no ordinary child, he started his educational journey at Kew Forest School, where he didn't just cause chaos among the schoolmates, but also he was a kind of student who made teachers to shake their heads, half in frustrations and half in amusement. And this prompted his father, Fred Trump, a man who truly believed in hard work, discipline, and structure, to decide alongside his wife, Mary Trump, to enroll Donald in a military academy at the age of 13 due to his misbehavior at school. And let me tell you, in the military academy is not a summer camp. This institution emphasizes discipline, not merely as a suggestion, but as a requirement. During his time there, something extraordinary occurred. The challenges he faced did not hinder him, rather they molded him. It was here that he discovered his leadership abilities, learned to harness his abundant energy, and began to appreciate the significance of discipline. He thrived academically, excelled in sports, and as expected, made his presence felt wherever he went. By the time he graduated from the academy, Donald had transformed from a boy into a young man who had mastered the art of commanding attention, leading others, and overcoming obstacles. Following his graduation from the military school, Trump continued his education at the esteemed Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, where he studied economics and graduated in 1968. It was during this time, while at Wharton, that Donald began to envision his future in the real estate industry, drawing inspiration from the business legacy established by his parents. After the untimely death of his father at the age of 43 due to alcoholism, he was positioned to inherit his father's legacy as his older brother Fred pursued a career as a pilot. Trump has been married 3 times, and each time to a woman who was notably a model. His first and perhaps the most well-known wife was Ivana Zelvonikova, a former athlete and model. They met while Ivana was modeling in Montreal in 1976. Mr. Trump was impressed by her beauty and charisma during his early days in the New York City. At a dinner with other models, he took the initiative to approach her and secured the finest table for Ivana and her fellow models.
And there is a blonde, blue-eyed guy, and he said, I'm so sorry, my name is Donald Trump, and I can see the girls you are looking for the table. And I turned to my girlfriend and said, I have a good news and bad news. What is the good news? We're going to get a table real fast. What is the bad news? This fellow behind me is going to go and sit with us.
Despite Ivana being in a relationship at that time and was not seeking for a new one, Trump seemed not to care. Determined to win her over, he made grand gestures, famously sending her 100 roses during their courtship and impressing her with extravagant dates and romantic getaways. For 3 months, he called her daily and even traveled to Canada to surprise her. On the New Year's Eve, the couple celebrated in Aspen, where Trump proposed to her. Although they had spent limited time together, Ivana accepted his proposal and they married 3 months later on April 9, 1977.
We get along very well, and there's not a lot of disagreement because ultimately Ivana does exactly as I tell her to do. So we should have world record-setting fights, but we really don't.
After their wedding, the pair then jetted for a honeymoon in Mexico, and Ivana unexpectedly got pregnant with their first child, Donald Jr., followed by Ivanka and Eric. Ivana played a significant role in her husband's business, the Trump Organization, where she was appointed Vice President of Interior Design. She was actively involved in the expansion of his real estate ventures, contributing to the development of the Trump Tower and other properties. However, their marriage ended abruptly in 1989 when Ivana discovered Trump had been having an affair with the model Mala Maples. The revelation of the cheating scandal came to light during the planned confrontation between the two women while they were both vacationing in Aspen. In March 1990, Ivana officially filed a divorce.
It's hot. It's pretty hot. Is it too hot? I don't know.
Leading to the contentious battle over their shared properties. The contentious divorce proceedings between them escalated into a bitter disputes over their assets.
The divorce was brutal. He took the divorce as a business deal, and he cannot lose. Capturing significant media attention and dominating the gossip columns. Ultimately, Ivana Trump secured a settlement that included a $14 million for herself, a yearly alimony and child support payment of $650,000 for the upbringing of their children, a mansion in Greenwich, Connecticut, and an apartment on the Upper East Side. After the divorce settlement, Ivana Trump gained more popularity as a socialite and entrepreneur, drawing media attention, which contributed to Donald Trump's discomfort and led to a negative public perception of him due to his infidelity towards Ivana, the mother of his children. Every American woman hated him, and every American hated him.
In response to the backlash, Trump sought to transform the public's negative sentiment into a more favorable view. This frustration culminated in a 1990 magazine cover where he purportedly quoted his second wife as saying, and I quote, "The best I've ever had." This fabricated statement succeeded in garnering public sympathy for Trump.
It's a disgrace.
Years later, Jill Brooke, a former journalist for the New York Post, revealed the circumstances behind the publication of that infamous tabloid headline. Backstory is just as ridiculous as you might expect. You see, one day Trump was angered by a particularly sympathetic article about Ivana in the New York Daily News. In a fit of anger, he contacted the New York Post, referring to the Daily News staff in a derogatory terms, and I quote, those. Trump, with his financial resources, he demanded a front page story for the following day. However, the chief editor, Mr. Jeremy Nachman, informed Mr. Trump that he could not simply dictate a front-page story based on his wealth. There needed to be a compelling narrative to justify such coverage. And when Mr. Trump asked what would warrant for a front page, Mr. Nachman explained further to him that it will usually be a story of something to do with money, murder, or sex. Then Trump immediately replied to Mr. Nachman, and I quote, "Mala says with me, it's the best she ever had." Nachman, as an experienced editor, envisioned a perfect headline that ultimately went viral beyond their expectations. Mala Maples, Donald Trump's second wife, later denied the allegations, suggesting that it was Mr. Trump who orchestrated the situation as was his custom, by impersonating his second wife to set trends.
You're destroying my reputation again here. You know, it's already happened once and just loving you. Look what happened.
Following their separation, Ivana Trump moved on and married the Italian businessman Riccardo Mazzucchelli in 1995. And their marriage ended in a contentious divorce in 1997. In 2008, she entered into a new marriage with the Italian actor Rossano Rubicondi after dating for 6 years. At that time, Ivana was 59 years old, while Rubicondi was 35, making him 25 years her junior. Their marriage also didn't last, despite a lavish wedding at Mar-a-Lago, which featured a $1 million diamond ring.
Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Can you tell us how much it cost?
Why should you ask me?
They divorced in a less than a year in 2009, although they maintained an on and off relationship until Riccardo's death in 2021 and Ivana's passing on July 14, 2022.
Ivana Trump died last week from injuries she suffered during a fall.
On the other hand, following his separation with his first wife, Trump continued his relationship with Maples.
I like the reputation of a solid, married man. That's what I'd like for me.
I feel like I've known him for millions of years. Be it painful, be it pleasant. It's just like we're bonded. We're really bonded.
That's all I...
Shortly after finalizing his divorce from Ivana, Maples became pregnant with Trump's fourth child. Their daughter, Tiffany, was born in 1993. And just a few months later, on December 20, 1993, Donald and Maples were married.
We really anticipated getting married and having a baby, not having a baby and getting married.
The couple remained together for 3 years before ultimately separating in May 1997. Reason being, they had differences on how they viewed the world and how they wanted to raise their child.
Indecision. Really indecision.
I was like, you're destroying my reputation again here. You know, it's already happened once and just loving you.
The divorce proceedings extended over the next 2 years. Although Maples had signed a prenuptial agreement, which she claimed she was not given enough time to review the deal before signing it.
You know I love you.
I hate the concept of a prenuptial agreement because it basically says, if and when you get divorced, this is what you're going to get. Right. And there's something very bad about that. But I think it's a modern day necessity.
I didn't like the way the system works. Right. I mean, I really felt that it was very offensive to both of us. And he'd say, you know, you're right, but what am I supposed to do?
Marla hates it, doesn't want to sign it. Ultimately, she has to sign it, just from my standpoint. She has to sign it.
So I said, whatever you need for your bankers, for your associates, I'll sign that. This is just not...
After fighting for a divorce share in court, Maples eventually decided to walk away in order to avoid further emotional and physical distress.
Reputation of Donald Trump, the man who dates a different woman every year.
Just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just like, I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Whatever you want. Grab them by the I can do anything.
Although she does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird. Stop You know it. What? You are sick.
She received $1 million for herself, plus another $1 million to build a house. Subsequently, she auctioned off her possession, her engagement ring inclusive, to generate funds to survive.
The truth is, there's a lot of misconceptions about I walked away a multi-millionaire.
During the divorce proceedings with his second wife, he met Melania. The pair first crossed paths in 1998 in a party in the New York City.
We were both at the same party, and that's how we met. He came to me.
Away? I went crazy. I said, I was actually supposed to meet somebody else.
Donald requested for Melania's phone number, but she declined, as he had arrived in the party with another woman. But he eventually succeeded in winning her affection. Donald proposed to Melania at the 2004 Met Gala and officially got married on January 22, 2005. And on March 20, 2006, the couple welcomed their first son after dating for 6 years and named him Baron Trump, the name they had always desired for a child. And in the following years, Melania maintained a low profile as she focused on raising Baron away from the public eye.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
As associate.
know what trending is better than anybody in the world. I've been trending my whole life. From the day I was born, I've been trending.
I like the good publicity and I like the bad publicity. It also is now reality.
In a 1980 interview at the age of 34, Trump characterized politics as a very harsh arena, stating that most capable individuals usually choose
Donald
the
Trump,
business
a
world.
multi-millionaire real estate developer, is sounding more like a politician these days. People are going to presume things.
Well, they can presume whatever they want. I have no intention of running for president, but I'd like the point to get across that...
By 1987, he began teasing a presidential bid. He briefly considered entering the 2000 race with the Reform Party, again in 2012 as a Republican.
Make a decision at the end of February. He has formed a presidential exploratory committee. He has changed his registration to the Independence Party of New York, which is the Reform Party affiliate.
Trump emerged as one of the most vocal critics in the Be The movement, a conspiracy theory that questioned whether Barack Obama was born in the United States or Kenya. He did not acknowledge it as false until 2016 and never issued an apology.
Wasn't born in this country, which is a real possibility. I'm not saying it happened. I'm saying it's a real possibility, much greater than I thought 2 or 3 weeks ago. Then he has pulled one of the great cons in the history of politics.
It was 2015, and the United States was full of tension after the 8 years of Barack Obama's presidency.
Which I said to the American people, regardless of which side you were on in the election, regardless of whether your candidate won or lost, the sun would come up in the morning. And that is one bit of prognosticating that actually came true. The sun is up. And I know everybody had...
The political climate was ripe for disruption. Obama had implemented historical changes from the Affordable Act Care to the legalization of same-sex marriage. Yet his presidency also deepened national division.
Sacrifices borne by our ancestors. I thank President Bush for his service to our nation.
At that time, the Republican Party was represented by figures such as Jeb Bush, the former governor of Florida, along with other prominent politicians like Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, and Scott Walker, all of whom possessed extensive political experience. Trump's entry into the race transformed the dynamics within the party.
I said to my kids, no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. Raise your hands, kids. I promise Donald J. Trump that I will never take drugs. I don't want to say no alcohol, but take it easy on the alcohol, right?
Many believed Trump was joking, as he had fluttered in the idea of running for years, teasing potential candidacies in both 2000 and 2012. However, in June 2015, while standing at the base of the golden escalator in Trump's tower, he made it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you today my father, Donald J. Trump.
Using the Make America Great Again slogan, he easily muscled past rivals in the Republican Party to face off against the Democrat Hillary Clinton. Republican establishment didn't know what hit them. Trump, a businessman with zero political experience, wasn't following the script. He didn't talk like a politician. He talked like a man who had just walked out of a boardroom, mixing bluntness with big promises. He came out with controversial agendas like targeting the migration, pledging to build a wall in the southern border and make Mexico pay for it, a promise that gained him more supporters. He even rallied about how he was against trade deals like NAFTA, accusing them of shipping American jobs. You see, initially Trump was dismissed as a joke candidate, but as the primaries unfolded, something extraordinary happened. While candidates like Bush struggled to ignite passion, Trump packed arenas and energized crowds. He won state after state, crushing seasoned politicians like Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz. And by May 2016, he had secured enough delegates to become the Republican nominee, a feat no one thought was possible a year earlier. In the general election, Trump faced Hillary Clinton, a former Secretary of State and a formidable figure in the Democratic Party. This contest was a clash of titans. The campaign became a battle of outsiders versus insiders. Clinton's team portrayed Trump as unfit for office, emphasizing his lack of experience and controversial remarks about the Hollywood leaks of Trump.
With the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
On March 8, 2016, the unthinkable happened. Donald Trump emerged victorious, garnering 304 electoral votes compared to Clinton's 227. Although she received more popular votes, Trump took the stage at his victory rally to declare his triumph. From the very first hours, he brought unrivaled drama to the job, often making formal announcements via Twitter, nowadays known as X, and clashing openly with foreign leaders. Trump wasted no time implementing his agendas. He withdrew from major climate and trade agreements,
The United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord.
banned travel from 7 Muslim-majority countries, issued other tough immigration restrictions, launched a trade war with China,
Somebody had to do it, so I'm taking on China.
implemented record tax cuts, and restored peace in the Middle East.
Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead. He died like a dog, he died like a
Throughout
coward.
his presidency, Trump encountered persistent opposition, with protests erupting across the nation in response to his attitude. The Women's March, which took place the day after his inauguration, saw millions of participants.
We came today to stand for democracy. I think that Trump is leading us down a pretty dangerous path. It's almost like he wants to be above the law. He has no respect for international law, domestic law.
Shortly thereafter, Trump became the 3rd president in the US history to be impeached, facing allegations of the abuse of power. The impeachment was carried out by a House of Representatives controlled by Democrats, but he was acquitted by a Senate led by Republicans.
Higher life.
If Republicans want to defend the president's indefensible behavior, they can do so.
I believe the Democrats are tearing this country apart. They're tearing families apart.
This is
However, in the 2020 election year was dominated by the coronavirus pandemic. He faced severe backlash regarding his management on the COVID crisis, which was perceived as slow and disorganized, as the United States experienced the highest rates of deaths and infections globally. His controversial remarks further fueled criticism. In October, he had to pause his campaign activities after contracting COVID-19 himself. The pandemic also severely affected the economy, resulting to job losses and the collapse of numerous businesses. Despite his campaign promises to restore the economy, many voters held him responsible for the economic downturn.
As the virus spreads throughout the country, stay-at-home orders are in effect in 32 states and Washington, D.C. Florida has the 5th highest number of cases in the U.S.
And the civil unrest following the murder of George Floyd, which led to widespread protests during the summer of 2020, ultimately driving many voters to support Biden. The election was held on November 3rd, 2020, and on November 7th, 2020, Joe Biden was declared the winner, securing 306 electorate college votes compared to Trump 232. Biden also won the popular vote by over 7 million votes. Nevertheless, Trump refused to concede, claiming widespread voter fraud without providing credible evidences to support his statement. He filed numerous lawsuits challenging the results, all of which were dismissed. Trump then rallied his supporters in Washington on 6th January, urging them to converge on the Capitol as Mr. Biden's victory was to be formally certified by Congress. Trump left the office on January 20, 2021 and did not attend Biden's inauguration ceremony.
Goodbye. We love you. We will be back in some form. So Have a good life. We will see you soon. Thank you.
He flew to his Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach, Florida, where he established his post-presidency life. Following the events at the Capitol, he faced bans from major social media platforms including Twitter and Facebook due to his role in inciting the riots. In response to this ban, Trump launched his own social media platform, Truth Social, to maintain communication with his supporters.
They said he was done forever.
He is done.
The end of this Trump.
That's a new voices.
The final chapter of Donald Trump.
I don't know what the future of this party can be.
The movement we started is only just
Trump's political career appeared as good as dead after storming off the Capitol. Donors and supporters vowed never to support him again, and even his closest allies publicly distanced themselves from him. More than a dozen opponents, including his former vice president, challenged him, but fell short as Trump avoided the debate stage and channeled his frustration on Mr. Biden. Eventually, Mr. Biden chose to step back and endorsed his deputy, Kamala Harris.
Are you ready to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz?
Later on, 13th July, a 20-year-old gunman attempted to assassinate Trump during a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The assailant, Thomas Matthew Crook, fired 8 rounds of an AR-style rifle from a nearby rooftop, wounding Trump on his right ear. The gunman was ultimately neutralized by the counter-snipers. With the assistance of billionaire Elon Musk and other influential figures, Trump successfully secured victory in the 2024 elections, winning both the Electoral College and the popular vote. Notably, he became the second Republican to win the popular vote since 1988, garnering 312 out of 538 Electoral College votes. Thank you for watching until the end. And if you find this video valuable, please give it a thumbs up. If not, feel free to double tap the dislike button to indicate your dislike. Your support is appreciated. It's all love. I love you guys. Inshallah.
If you look at really what's happening, look at the crowd over there. Look how happy everybody is. They're happy because they want hope. They need hope. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to give much more than hope.